You
Oh,
took me to the
wait.
wrong camp, Chad. Did you make me pay $5 and you took me
I
to the
took
wrong
you to the
camp?
wrong cab.
Oh
Five
my
dollars.
Oh
god.
wait, that's right. That's right.
Well, at least you're not too awful far
Wow.
completely across the map.
Wow.
Is she like all the way across the map from us?
Yeah.
She's in Tumbleweed, I do believe.
Oh my god. Rarely does a concept live up to expectations. And I gotta be honest, it wasn't this film that originally lived up to the expectation. Into the Spider-Verse, which I know Doug has said in the past is his favorite Spider-Man movie. And I gotta be honest, it's one of my favorites too. I'm not sure if it is my favorite 100%. I know that he doesn't really regard the Sam Raimi films as the best, in which, looking back on them as an adult, I have to agree with him in certain regards, but still, to me, that second Sam Raimi film, the one with Doc Ock, and just so many great things about that film. I would say it's probably Sam Raimi's best work outside of the Evil Dead franchise. I think Sam Raimi will always be the man who gave us Evil Dead and truly busted down a lot of boundaries for filmmaking. But in terms of his Hollywood career, the man's done great work. I mean, Darkman, the Spider-Man films that he worked on, hell, even ones that people aren't that aware of. What was the name of that damn movie? The Gift with Cate Blanchett. A lot of people aren't aware that that was him. Because, again, the whole thing with Sam Raimi is he loves different kinds of projects that just are unconventional. He's a man that loves being unconventional. And what I'll say is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I watched it, and I will say this, it is okay. I really wish that there were the pacing of it was a bit better, and I'm just gonna be honest, some of the characters in it were so stupid. But I still have a great feeling about the majority of the films that Sam Raimi has worked on. I mean, I don't really know what else to say, man. I mean, Sam Raimi's just a great director. Better director than I'll ever be. And I will say that, his films, the Evil Dead franchise, his work in the Spider-Man movies, Darkman, The Gift, Drag Me to Hell. I mean, heck, even stuff that he's just produced. I mean, Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. And then, of course, a lot of people, Xena, a lot of people's favorite, Xena, Warrior Princess, which, yeah. Yeah. But either way, Spider-Man No Way Home. A film that a lot of people had spoiled for them, but yet were doubtful because of, again, the whole Andrew Garfield footage thing with that coming out. And then basically you had a lot of people out there saying, actually, you can see where it's fake right here. And then there were other people like, actually, no, this is real. And then when I knew it was real was when I saw the Corridor crew look at it. And they were just like, yeah, this is actually like impossible to emulate. This is real. So yeah, either way, needless to say, when this came out in theaters, it blew everybody away, rightfully so. I mean, so many surprises. Although there are things, I'm hoping Doug talks about it, but if he doesn't, I'll probably discuss it. Either way, we have here the Nostalgia Critics review of Spider-Man No Way Home. Let's go. Every time. Hey, Tim. Oh, hey, Tam. Not a parallel universe gun.
What's that?
A parallel universe gun from the wardrobe room.
Sounds right.
I figure since we're reviewing No Way Home, it'd be cool to see what we look like in a parallel universe.
But isn't that a sheet that says don't do that, though?
Critic put that there.
Oh, by all means, light it up.
Let's go.
Hey Malcolm, hey Tamara, what in God's name are you doing?
We found your portal gun.
Yeah, we figured we could find different versions of ourselves for the Spider-Man review.
No, you don't need to do that. In fact, don't do that.
Hey, why are you so concerned with us using this?
Wow.
Wow, you're a spider critic.
Malcolm Morales?
Octavius!
This is awesome. Why did you not want us to see this?
Hey, it's the copycat.
What? Let me guess. He reviews nostalgic properties with over-the-top reactions?
That is absurd.
Yes.
Yes.
He's been wearing a similar outfit for 18 years.
No, 15. Did you steal from the Spider-Verse?
No,
It's the exact same thing, except yours is more successful.
no, it's a different universe, so it doesn't count.
Why?
Fewer people have seen it.
Hey,
Come on, this guy doesn't even sound like me.
I am appalled that someone would be stealing from us so blatantly!
Dear Lord, rest in peace, Gilbert Gottfried. But actually, where Gottfried was technically Jewish, just I don't know. I'm not even Catholic. Why do I even do that?
he sounds just like Gilbert Gottfried.
So?
You sound just like Gilbert Gottfried.
I can't even do Gilbert Gottfried. Watch.
A guy walks into a talent agent.
Goddamn, everyone's trying not to.
Took the same idea we had, recreated it, and everyone thinks it's so fresh and new.
Okay, so I surrounded myself with similar people and similar ideas, but... artistically, people like you more?
Suck my lord! Are you kidding me? I can't believe you're
Look,
going
a guy pointing!
I think it's clear we're not gonna look because it's an obviously fabricated distraction.
And he escaped while I was explaining that!
Split up and find him.
Can we wave our fists and yell?
Yes, preferably.
I know that the parallel is going to be here. Oh yeah, Into the Spider-Verse did it first and did it before this one. But again, pulling it off in an animated universe versus pulling it off in a live-action universe, I mean, there's a lot more moving parts in terms of a live-action universe versus... That doesn't make the animated one any less great. It's still amazing. But this one, holy shit.
Should successful property be praised when something like it was already done? In the same franchise? Don't get me wrong, it happens whether we agree to it or not. Hunger Games with Battle Royale, X-Men with Doom Patrol, Phantom of the Opera with School Days, it's an age-old occurrence. Though with one of the biggest movies to come out in recent years, Spider-Man No Way Home, I was shocked how few people were pointing out the similarities between a Spider-Man property many still proclaim as the best Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse. Praised by critics and audiences, and even winning the Oscar for Best Animated Film, it didn't get the box office return it was hoping for, or at least nothing near No Way Home. Sony is doubling down, though, literally, with 2 sequels in the works, hoping the goodwill it's built up will equal good ticket sales.
Well, again, I'm hoping that it finds that too, but again, it's just too jarring of a thing. You know, it's an animated film from Sony. Sony is not the high-end name in animated films. That's why it's why it didn't get the amount of love and support that it normally would. I'm hoping that Miles Morales' story, you know, and Into the Spider-Verse eventually becomes the Toy Story umbrella to prop up great Sony animated films. I mean, I'm hoping because I love Into the Spider-Verse. And the fact that they're doing a part 1 and part 2 for the sequel, I mean, yeah, again, there's so many things that can go right. And I'm hoping that a lot of it does go, I hope it all does go right, but
that still raises the question. Is a Sony movie about Spider-Man in a multiverse of crossovers ripping off another Sony movie about Spider-Man in a multiverse of crossovers?
Hey, so who plays Daredevil in your universe?
Affleck
It's complicated.
I like that. Affleck.
First of all, you have to realize the hype around this movie was almost next level. I'm really not kidding when I say this was on par with Endgame or The Dark Knight. It wasn't just past characters from Spider-Man meeting up, it was past actors. The internet flipped. Just seeing Alfred Molina and knowing there could be even more actors involved made everyone, well...
God damn it.
Honestly, the movie still would have done great even if it was just okay. But luckily, it had some great action, wonderful acting, and surprisingly brilliant storytelling that balanced a ton of characters, many of them beloved, into one movie without being a huge mess. Only one other Spider-Man film managed to do this more effectively, and you guessed it, it came out 4 years earlier. But here's the thing. Not only is No Way Home live action, which doesn't make it a better experience, but does make it a different experience.
Yes.
But it's done at the height of the nostalgic reboot. Yes, nostalgic properties have been milked for years, but the idea of getting the original cast decades later for a reunion/reimagining is not only hot, but it's fading into lukewarm. No Way Home came out just as people were starting to get sick of aging stars banking on your fond memories. But it still did something new yet familiar, winning everybody over. And that's no small feat. I don't think it's an example of Spider-Verse walk so No Way Home could run. It's more Spider-Verse run so No Way Home could run in a different way. While there are similarities, and I still stand by Spider-Verse as the better film, I think it's important to understand why this worked as well as it did, and why, in my opinion, it's a case of influence, not ripoff.
To a point where people you think would call it a ripoff don't. Aha! He's in here!
Damn it! What? What's wrong?
We come from a universe where the aliens from science took over.
We're not very good with doors.
It's okay. Let's just get some water and think of a plan.
Oh! There's us even more!
Let's take a look at Spider-Man No Way Home. The film picks up right where the last one left off, with Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland, being outed as Peter Parker and his girlfriend, MJ, played by Zendaya, caught in the middle after people think he killed the false hero Mysterio. Even though the effects in this are hit and miss, I have to admit the swinging scenes are probably the best since Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yes, good things came out of that aside from Giamatti's accent.
I just so I kill you! I destroy you!
They go to Aunt May, played again by Marissa Tomei, but so do the police and everybody gets arrested. I hate it when the jackass cop in the movie has a point.
A boy was entrusted to you, and as his legal guardian, you not only allowed him to endanger himself, but you actually encouraged it.
My client would like to refer to the argument of,
oh, come on, comic books!
Again, and also here's the thing too, is the handling of that, again, very well done, but at the same time, certain things were handled that it I'll see if Doug touches on it. If he doesn't, I'll probably talk about it.
Released on bail and greeted by, I don't care what anyone says, my favorite cameo.
Yes.
That's great.
Oh, does your universe not require an audience track with your movie?
No.
Ours does. It's the law.
It's the law for all your movies to have audience tracks?
No, just this one.
Yeah, the pauses go on way too long without them.
I'll say this. I enjoy watching the crowd reaction videos on YouTube. I enjoy those a lot. This one was no different. And when Matt Murdock did show up, it was pretty hype. How did you do that?
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, this
How'd you do that? I am a very good lawyer.
track's especially good because I was at the screening.
I really like this cameo for two reasons. One, it's nice knowing these series are still canon. Two, Peter doesn't...
Mostly. From what I understand, this is really the only one getting a continuation. Maybe that's for the best. Actually, John Bernthal's Punisher deserves better.
have any money, so it makes sense he would represent it. Which is more than I can say for that Jennifer Susan Waters. God, I hate her ass. Peter, MJ, and his pal Ned all try their best to adapt, and I knew this movie was working when I realized I didn't need the characters from the other movies. No part of me was getting restless or looking at my phone saying, when are they gonna arrive? These leads are so ridiculously likable, their problems surprisingly relatable, and the pacing for as much information as they throw at you is amazingly stellar.
Yes.
Much like Spider-Verse, this should not work, but it brilliantly balances out.
In light of recent controversy, we are unable to consider your application at this time.
Peter sees his friends are not accepted into college, most likely because of him. So he goes to his friend Dr. Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch's still hilarious American accent.
Sanctum's built at the intersection of cosmic energy currents. Some of these walls are thousands of years old.
This is Constable Wickham's. Remove your knickers and wait in the bath.
Who can possibly help out while defrosting his house? Yeah, I still don't know what the point of that was.
The entire world's about
Well,
to...
Wong explained it. They opened up a doorway to, I think it was the Himalayas, and someone left it open, and thus the Sanctum got covered in snow.
Get the Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
Yeah, how good is this movie? It takes a story as terrible as One More Day and says, I can fix it!
Basically.
So my girlfriend's just gonna forget about everything we've been through?
I think it's cool Peter is messing with things he shouldn't mess with, but not for selfish reasons. Everything he does in this movie, for the most part, is to help others. He's fine taking shit, but he doesn't want to ruin his friends' futures. Even his major goal is to rehabilitate people, not just to beat them up.
You could have just left us to die. Why didn't you?
Because that's not who he is.
He's essentially a live-action Eek the Cat. He says it never hurts to help and spends a lifetime getting hurt.
Harold Happy Hogan. He used to work for Tony Stark, but then
When he interrupts the spell, things go wrong, but Strange thinks he can contain it.
You know, after everything we've been through together, somehow I always forget. You're just a kid.
A 26-year-old kid. He's won GQ's Men of the Year!
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, he still looks like a kid. He could pass for a high schooler. And don't forget, when he first got the role, he was still 18, 19? Forget.
Peter tries to convince the vice chancellor of a college to let his friends in, but he's attacked by a familiar face.
Yeah!
It's the law. Like I was saying, we get Doc Ock back in the picture, played again by Alfred Molina.
Hello, Peter.
You might be wondering why I'm 20 years older and 50 pounds lighter. The answer is, ooh, the Doc Ock theme. Da 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 da, classic.
Yeah.
I should point out almost every action scene is ridiculously creative.
Yes.
I mean, this is an 8-legged octopus man fighting an 8-legged Spider-Man. Can we just give thanks we live in a world where this is popular?
Very new device.
Peter uses the nanotechnology from his suit to control Doc Ock's arms, but more importantly, his friends are getting into college! Again, this movie is really working when I was concerned about that throughout the entire fight.
I'm gonna talk to him missions about your friends, and I'm gonna talk to him about you.
I'm gonna get you that role in the Uncharted movie. Oh, please don't.
Oh, no. I really think that could have worked. The Uncharted movie could have worked if it just was handled by a better director.
Strange finds out Octavius isn't the only new arrival, though, as he locks up both him and the lizard.
Frankly, the multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
I saw everything everywhere at once, and I couldn't follow a lick of it. This looks like a job for half the characters from Recess.
Scooby-Doo this shit.
You know, I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Not cool.
You know, I said that. I said, you know, as much as I like MJ in these, you know, her snarkiness and her, you know, quick wit and everything, she's going against the, well, not the Sorcerer Supreme, but would have been the Sorcerer Supreme if he would have not been snapped out of existence. Again, her snippiness can only get her so far, and around, yeah, I was about ready for Strange to do that. Just being like, okay, zoom, and then just like teleport her to like the top of the Empire State Building. And just like, she can walk back. It just, because why not? I mean, he's Strange. He's Doctor Strange. I mean, and it's like, you're like, oh, Peter, if you want to go get her, go ahead. Also, get to work and tell her not to be so snippy.
They try to figure out where other villains from other worlds could be, leading to a joke you either love or hate.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
What?
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
This doesn't bother me too much because they made fun of it in the original.
Guy named Otto Octavius winds up with 8 limbs. What are the odds?
And even Peter makes a joke about Strange's name.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Dr. Strange.
Oh, you're using made-up names. I'm Spider-Man then.
So my only gripe is, wouldn't he be used to these names by now? Maybe an eye roll or something could work, but laughing this hard like this isn't the world you live in is a little strange.
Dr. Strange. That's pretty good.
See?
Yeah, even they did that.
That worked a little better. They searched through the internet and I think Onward cameos to discover 2 other visitors.
Actually, wait, now that I think about it, back then, when Ted Raimi said Doctor Strange, and then Jonah was like, that's good. But it's taken. Like, what did the Doctor Strange from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe look like? That's what I wanted to know. Sadly, we never got that.
Sandman and Electro.
Ray Charles can't see!
I absolutely love that Sandman helps out in this one, and despite both Thomas Hayden Church and Rhys Evans barely showing their faces, it does make a difference having their incredibly distinct voices. Knowing how crazy the planning and scheduling for this must have been, it doesn't feel like...
Especially during COVID. You know, part of this took place during COVID. Part of the filming for this took place during COVID, man. That's the other thing.
Good cheat.
The power is different.
Electro, played again by Jamie Foxx, you can tell they're trying to fix as a character compared to the last one, but all they get is he's a literal power-hungry villain who wants electricity. And given this, his writing's still consistently awkward.
It's actually my fault that you're here.
Like the universe or the woods. I hate the woods.
It's barky and rough and irritating, and it's everywhere! Strange traps them as well, and remember when I said the effects were hit and miss? The lizard is the worst of that.
Speaking of which, what happened to you? Last I recall, you had bad teeth, glasses, and a comb-over.
He wasn't that great an effect to begin with, but now he looks like a Super Mario Brothers movie.
I swear to God, I said the exact same thing when I saw him. Looks like the fucking Goomba from Super Mario Brothers. It's the head. It's the literal chrome dome, and again, it's weird.
But she's sandwiched with the Geico Gecko.
We have a new one.
I didn't do that.
World to conquer.
Speaking of green abominations, when Willem Dafoe shows up...
Nemo!
Here's my other personal biggest applaud moment.
You can't escape yourself.
Thank you. Well done. Sit down.
You know how much I hated this mask. Dafoe was a lot of fun in the first Spider-Man, but the idea of covering up this face for a character called Green Goblin is absolutely baffling to me. You could have given him some makeup or alter him in a way where people wouldn't recognize him, but you needed to see this face. Well, they finally listened to the Weird Al song and they gave him clothes that not only look closer to the Goblin, but also allowed his face to match too. Aside from one cool scene where you see a mouth within a mouth, this movie showed how much of his performance we've been missing with his face covered up. My only complaint is I could have used it turning green a little bit. That's
I think you just skating along the line where his outfit's green sort of works just as well. Again, I think that would have been too far of a stretch.
One thing Amazing Spider-Man 2 started to play with that wasn't a bad idea. They just botched it up. He looked like the Rat King. I'm actually curious if they had that idea, as Aunt May sticks him with something that doesn't have an effect, so I'm almost wondering why it was even in there. Maybe it was to give him that effect, and they backed out at the last minute. I'm not...
Well, okay. Again, there's things that happened during this last fight. And I really think it's because of a scheduling conflict that they weren't able to do it. Maybe Doug will touch on it. I'm gonna wait and see when Doug gets to discussing that scene. But anyway,
not sure. With that said, he's still perfectly over the top and clearly having a ball. But he's also legit kind of scary.
Yes.
You are the one that killed her. That's some neat trick. Peter.
I also give credit, he's not trying to fool Peter either. He goes to Aunt May and legit wants help. It's only later that the Goblin takes over again. This makes the character so much more interesting and Peter's need to help him all the more relatable.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Hope to see you again.
I ship it.
Shut up, Doug.
He kills her later, but that means nothing in comics.
Oh, God, I hate the fact that he's right, but at the same time, no. I mean, Mace got happy, so, well, kind of, they're sort of on again, off again. God damn it. YouTube?
Once the villains are
YouTube
caged
Premium,
up, Strange
everybody.
says he has to send them back to die. Peter thinks there's still good in them, though, and steals the spell from Strange, who literally knocks him out of his body.
Invisible. What?
How are you doing that?
Spider senses.
Neat. Oh, that raises a good question. How is he doing that?
Spider senses. It's just reflex.
The theory is it's his spider sense taking over. It's a bit of a stretch, but I guess I'd buy it. Either way, it doesn't matter, though, because the film never tells us.
No, it's a spider thing. You remove its soul and it still has good reflexes.
Watch, we'll show you with this spider here.
Here we go. Oh. Maybe not.
Sorry, buddy.
I would say they played with that idea pretty well in, what was it? You know, you remove the soul from somebody at... forget it. Damn it. My brain.
We're still here, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And for no extra charge, we're given a really awesome Doctor Strange battle.
We can't just send them home to die.
It's their fate.
The scene made me realize Strange wasn't just a throwaway cameo like in Thor Ragnarok where he just transports a character. He easily could have been written out. There's different ideologies being fought for here, with Strange not wanting to mess with fate anymore and Peter wanting to do the right thing. And it does end up changing them. Don't believe me? This is Strange the first time he's gonna erase Spider-Man.
Nice knowing you, Spider-Man.
As is him doing the same thing, but after Peter challenges the way he perceives things.
Everyone who knows and loves you, we'd have no memory of you.
He goes through an arc, and it's nice he isn't just here because he's a face you recognize.
Yes.
Also, Peter using math to figure this world out is both clever and surprisingly believable. I'm actually amazed at how smart this solution is.
The mirror dimension is just geometry. You're great at geometry. Square the radius. Divide by pi.
Cecil, in the likely circumstance you're trapped in between worlds and fighting a magical realm wizard, geometry was finally essential to learn in school. He trapped Strange in his own world, maybe for a little too long. What's the amount of time he was there?
I've been dangling over the Grand Canyon for 12
I know.
Would you have lunch with the Midnight Gospel? And Peter decides to do his best to rehabilitate the villains.
Look, our technology is advanced.
I can help you. You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Do you think that's your catchphrase? Why do you think that's your catchphrase? It really shouldn't be too...
It's the meme, Doug. The filmmakers saw this and decided to make the meme a reality.
Picky, seeing how so much of this movie works better than I would have thought possible. With that said, man, this is a lame way to write out a character.
Where's Connors? He told me he wants to stay in the truck.
Yeah, that is a bit lame. Because again, I can understand, you know, his physical appearance could be a bit jarring for some people. But then again, I mean, well, again, Connors was always an introvert. And I guarantee you, him feeling the way that he feels right now, given how he looks. Yeah, I also just thought of something. Connors doesn't die in his fight with Spider-Man. No, he just gets put in prison. So technically, it. Did they mention that? I don't think they did. No,
Okay.
No cure for him then. Peter's mouth wasn't even moving when he said that line.
Where's Connors?
Let's go eat, huh? But it's cool. They randomly cut back to a truck shaking to show, oh yeah, we didn't have to edit that in at the last minute. That was always in the script. Maybe they just got tired of looking at his Teenage Mutant Audrey 2 face.
When I get out of this, we're gonna rip you a new job.
For a while, Peter seems to legit help them out as he reprograms Doc Ock's chip, gives Electro a stabilizer, and even Norman helps out.
Also, the part with Doc Ock having the new chip, great acting from Alfred Molina, because, you know, the entire time, you know, he's complaining, he's combative, and then all of a sudden that chip comes in, and it's like he's woke up. It's like he's finally awake now, and it's like he's been asleep for so long. And again, I love that. I love that part so much.
When all this is over, if you need a job and you're willing to commute to another universe.
And I have to say, all these actors are bringing their A game. Not one of them feels like they're half-assing it. With that said, though, the Goblin does take Norman over and convinces everyone.
Norman's on sabbatical. Yeah, this switch over for some of the villains is just a bit much. Especially Sandman, given that Sandman was willing to help Peter out, and the fact that Peter's willing to help him out now. I mean, I don't understand why Sandman doesn't just, like, surround Norman and just, like, encapsulate him and just be like, yeah, you're not going anywhere. Do your thing, kid. Although Max is a more combative kind of villain. But I think that Norman would have been able to handle him because his arms are able to withstand high amounts of electricity.
Pretty quickly that evil is cool and good is dumb.
These are not curses, they're gifts. Gods don't have to choose.
Most of them I can buy except for Sandman.
Yes!
His turn makes no sense. What the hell does he have to be evil about? All he's done is help out, and what, we're supposed to think he's like, ha ha, off to save my daughter, which I may or may not have already done. What's he doing?
Hey, run, please.
He tries to stop them, but gets killed by the Goblin. I have to admit, I like that she dies doing something noble and isn't just a bystander.
Yes.
And with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
So on top of this scene playing out really well, despite her saying what you've heard a million times, despite her clearly replacing Uncle Ben, despite you could argue Tony was the Uncle Ben role in this universe, they changed with the lore in a way that's backwards, but does ultimately add up. One of my pet peeves with the other Holland films is that there was no sense of purpose. I do want to see Uncle Ben die again, but if you show me those two movies without me having any knowledge of Spider-Man said this is one of the greatest heroes ever, I wouldn't know what you were talking about. It'd just be a kid trying to be a hero done well, but done in a million other stories. But whether intentionally or unintentionally, they made Parker someone who just wanted to do good and over time gained that purpose, gained that sacrifice. It's also done after we've gotten 2 movies to really know him and his friends, so it feels a lot more personal.
I just wish we could see Peter.
Speaking of which, Ned tries to help by using one of Doctor Strange's rings, resulting in...
Yeah!
Kick Odie! A lot of people say this film was redemption for Andrew Garfield, but you're wrong, Garfield was always great.
Thank you! Thank you! Jesus Christ, I can't believe... Again... I've said that. I liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I thought that he was, in some ways, a better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire. But then again, Tobey's the OG, well, in terms of, like, big live-action Spider-Man, but... Yo! What up, Toby?
Tobey Maguire arrives, and now all cinematic Spider-Mans are in this movie, and while to many this wasn't that big a surprise, I think everyone was impressed with just how much of them were in this movie. I was assuming they'd be in the climax, or maybe a little cameo at the end where they help out, but they are here for most of the third act, and they do everything you want to see these 3 do.
Yes.
Except one thing. No, they did that behind the scenes this movie!
Yeah, I knew they did it behind the scenes.
I've been trying to find your friend ever since I got here. I just have this sense that he needs my help.
Our help.
If anything, your franchises need his help.
Yeah.
This movie is smart to let the friends meet up and cry about losing Aunt May. Most movies would rush into getting all the Spider-Mans together, but a scene like this shows they do care about the characters first. And when they do meet up, this whole scene feels like a love letter to all the themes and ideas that have carried through Spider-Man.
My Uncle Ben was killed. It was my fault.
Uncle Ben like the rice? We do that here. It is pretty funny when Peter asks if their versions of Uncle Ben said with great power comes great responsibility. Garfield almost has to think, is that what that overwritten line was trying to say?
She told me that with great power comes great responsibility. What? How do you know that? If you could do good things for other people, you had a moral obligation to do those things. Not choice, responsibility.
Uncle Ben said it.
Sounds like your version was a little tighter, could fit on a t-shirt, but same idea.
Yeah.
They science up and figure out ways to zap the villains back to normal and tell them to meet at the statue of Captain America. All the villains show up, and while they all still have great chemistry, this is surprisingly kind of a lame climax. Of course it's awesome to see the three Spider-Man swinging around, but it's a pretty ugly looking finale. It's murky, it's dark, it looks like they smeared a fart on the lens somehow. Even the statue has a look like
X-Men did it, and even then it was pretty meh.
They do get the villains back to normal though, leading to this obvious but still kind of funny line.
I just thought you was gonna be black.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
I don't apologize. There's gotta be a black Spider-Man somewhere out there.
Well, and like a black property, the white property is constantly taking ideas from it. If you're like me...
You do realize that the Spider-Verse existed before Miles Morales, right? I'm just saying. It's been a concept that's been played with for years and years before Miles Morales. Hold on one second. Let me see when. Spider-Verse... Yeah, turns out it was 2014, 2015? Yeah. Yeah. So, turns out it was... It actually began in a Guardians of the Galaxy one-off. That's awesome. And then, it was a prelude in the Amazing Spider-Man 4 through 6... And then Edge of the Spider-Verse happened. And then there's the core series. Spider-Man 2099. Spider-Verse. Yeah, so... Yeah, the Spider-Verse existed 4 years before. And before that, they'd played with the multiverse thing before. Although, you know, it wasn't a bunch of Spider-Men, Spider-Women, Spider people coming together. Again, so y'all can see it. There you go. So, Spider-Verse, this is basically where it all began. And, yeah, again, Miles Morales, Into the Spider-Verse wasn't first, Doug.
You thought this death of girlfriend moment was gonna be some Into Darkness bullshit, but somehow it went from worst scene to best scene in a millisecond.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Hell with Tick Tick Boom, that one face should have gotten him an Oscar. It's time to take on the Goblin, though, as, again to the film's credit, it remembers this is Holland's movie, and it gives him an arc of being pushed to the edge, trying to get revenge. So while there's things animation can do that live action can't, there are things live action can do that animation can't. This is an example. This image has to be Tom Holland, Willem Dafoe, and Tobey Maguire. It's only powerful because it's these actors right there with years of history behind them. There's not even a line here, because it's not needed. It's all in their looks. I'm not saying animation or live action is better, they're just different, and a good art form should lean into what makes it different. Goblin is turned back to normal, but Strange says the multiverse is out of control and he has to make the world forget who Spider-Man is to set it back to normal.
Just wait. Wait, tell me you see me again.
I usually hate these setups because it feels regressive and like things aren't moving forward, but seeing how the series is already backwards and they turn it into something great, I am curious what they're gonna do with it.
Well, Tom is still young. Tom is only, like you said, 26 years old. And I think that he has a whole lot of years left in front of him as Spider-Man. I mean, it's just like watching, your favorite shows and watching those characters grow up on those shows and become different people, become adults. That's what Peter's doing here. Peter's becoming an adult, and he's starting fresh, back at square one. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, Peter all on his own in the series, with no friends or expensive gadgets. That was a pretty big part of the comics for a while, and I wouldn't mind seeing how they handle it. Also, again, the acting is really stellar, and everything builds up to this choice of him leaving the ones he loves so that they can have normal lives.
Rent is due on the 1st of the month. Don't be late.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door! Oh, next one. Oh, I'm not kidding, as the after-credit sequence shows what I thought would be a big upset with Tom Hardy as Venom getting zapped back to his reality. I thought people were gonna freak because they were really building this up in the last Venom movie, but maybe folks realize we really didn't want to see these particular movies together.
Oh, given the quality that we're getting from the Venom films versus these films, yeah, I think it's best if we keep them separated. But still,
Sir, you have to pay the bill.
What is happening? No! Hey, at least I technically make this a Sinister Six movie! And that was, in my opinion, the best live-action Spider-Man movie.
I will say,
it's all the little problems that added up in the other films and almost completely fixed them. Okay, it's not 100% the comic, but it not only somehow made the other films more like the comics, but it got the soul and character down in an almost totally backwards way. Getting us to relate to these people for 2 movies, playing the long game and having us warm up to them really leaned hard into the whole friendly neighborhood Spider-Man feel. I really loved watching Tom Holland grow up as Peter. Yes, he was like 20 when these started, but it's actually kind of eerie how much he's looking like Parker growing up. Much like Spider-Verse, this isn't how I would imagine the best Spider-Man movie, but that's also what I really like about it. It is different, while also paying homage to everything we love about this series. Where Spider-Verse did everything that could be done with that idea in animation, No Way Home did everything that it could with this idea in live action. At least in a way that, for the most part, balanced out. I really don't think it would have worked if these guys were brought into. Both this and Spider-Verse are movies that, on paper, shouldn't work, but because of great skill, clever thinking, and a clear love and understanding of the material, they show their strengths in both their similarities and their differences.
Of course, pushing really hard, that's a Tor's weakness.
Okay, Critic, we're gonna...
It's all good. I did a review, now everything is fine.
Oh. Is that how things work around here?
Pretty much, yeah.
Huh. Well, I've learned that you really can't...
We know.
Oh.
But I think I've learned that you can never...
We know.
Oh. Yeah. I guess you can show yourself out then.
Got it.
Say, how is Gilbert Godfrey here? In our universe, he's working on a new version of the Aristocrats joke with Bob Saget and Norm Macdonald to make some good people laugh.
The same.
Good to know.
I'm the Nostalgia Critic, I remember...
So, did you just hire us because you saw us in a parallel universe?
No, I made you in a lab.
Oh, good.
What?
Wait.
I hate the woods.
Okay, so that... Wait. Well, I'm gonna have to fix that. Either way. So yeah, that was Into the Spider-Verse, or not Into the Spider-Verse. There you go. See, you got me talking about the Into the Spider-Verse again. That was No Way Home, from Spider-Man No Way Home by the Nostalgia Critic. I mean, I find myself agreeing with Doug on basically every front. I think this is the best Spider-Man live-action film. Also, Into the Spider-Verse didn't do it first, Doug. It was in the comics before it was ever on. Again, like most things, everything comes from the comics, so therefore, yeah, there you go. Anyway, yeah, this was great, and I can't wait to see more of this. I can't wait to see more of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I wonder how he's going to progress as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man instead of Ultimate Spider-Man or Iron Spider or whatever. And yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. But for now, everybody, this was once again the Nostalgia Critics review of Spider-Man No Way Home. If you enjoyed what you saw, you know what to do. Leave a like and all that. If you want to check out Doug's channel, hit up Channel Awesome, which is right there in the title of the video. And until next time, Nate I'll see you then. Peace.